All right, welcome to the halftime conversation here inside the Pentagon. It's Augustana women's basketball here on this Saturday afternoon. We are joined by the athletic director of Augustana University now, Josh Morton. And Josh, it's been an exciting time of year for Augustana athletics, getting ramped up and going again. First off, what's it been like for you guys in your office, kind of getting back into the swing of things with the athletic season starting?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. You think about it, we went 10 months with no outside competition, none. And now in the last, in 8 days, we'll probably have 9 competitions or 8. I mean, it's crazy. And I don't know, just the gratification last weekend of being able to not only host our women's games here at the Elman Center, but just to see our men get 2 wins on the road. And now wrestling has hit the road. They start today and conference play. So I guess it's just gratifying. We all got into this business because we want to provide the opportunity for our athletes, and to take competition away is really difficult. It was the right thing to do. It was the safe thing to do, but it doesn't make it any easier. And so now to be able to compete, and now this weekend to be able to allow some fans, we're 20% capacity at the Pentagon. We hope to continue to add to that a little bit. We just feel like it's 10 months of work, not culminating, but at least it feels like we hit another threshold.
Yeah, and it's had to have been a crazy 10 months trying to get all of this organized and ready to go. And I'm sure there's been tons of meetings with the NSIC and with people internally at Augustana University as well. Take us through some of that. And even this weekend, having to change the scheduling a little bit, it seems like it's very much a fluid situation day by day.
Yeah, I think our league's done a good job of establishing. We all agreed to certain protocols, and this is a good example. We just felt working with Mankato that it was the best thing for both teams to push it to Saturday, Sunday. We have that flexibility. We have basically from Friday through Sunday to get the games in. So some, there may be weekends where we only play once. Maybe we only play on Sunday. But it's great to work with Mankato to get it figured out. So I think our protocols in the conference are good and have us set up for success. I mean, as you look as a campus over since March, really proud of our campus, number one, because I think our strength is our size and our commitment to community. And so to have us work together with the academic side to everybody to pull together to create, really the most important thing was our academic Viking Flex plan that allowed us to be flexible, adjust to the virus. We had ups and downs on our campus throughout the fall, but I'm really proud, number one, of our students because they embraced it. They wore masks. They were conscious of being distant. But again, the virus at times was in control, but I think we got through that first semester, and now we started J-term this week. It's another milestone. And so it's just been, I think the key word is flexibility and to be able to adjust. We've proven that we're nimble and that we can do that. So I think as a community, it's brought our campus community even closer together.
Well, and congratulations to you guys on being able to get this far. Obviously, it's been an accomplishment in itself. The first real hurdle, like you said, was getting that women's basketball game started last weekend inside the Elman Center. And even though there weren't any fans there, it had kind of an energetic feeling at times. It felt like the people who were there were bringing that vibe that we're hoping to see more of this weekend.
Yeah, no, I know it did. And it was, the reasons we didn't allow fans. Number one, it's a week after Christmas. Everybody wonders about what that's going to be like. So we thought the best thing safety wise, let's just not. And then at the Elman Center, just not as set up as the Pentagon is to host fans. The Pentagon, I mean, you look behind you, that's a great setup. It's a safe setup. The seats are in pods. There's plexiglass. So we're blessed to call that our home. And that was the one weekend where we had a conflict at the Pentagon. So we had to play at the Elman Center. And so it just didn't feel right to have fans. And so I'm glad we didn't, so we can kind of get our feet underneath us from a game operations standpoint. So now we're just ready to go full go here, and knowing that our players know that, we're going to have some disruptions. Things aren't going to look exactly like they were supposed to look. This weekend's a great example, but the bottom line, we were able to find a way to compete twice.
Well, now you guys move into the Pentagon this weekend with women's basketball, and this is year 3 of being in the facility with your home court. Things maybe didn't go quite as you guys had planned last year in year 2, but obviously there's still room to grow, and it's a new season, new opportunities within that facility, and I'm sure you guys are excited about that.
Yeah, I'm going to correct you. It's year 2. Last year
Year
it may have
two,
felt
year
like 2
two.
years, but it
That's
was only
right.
one. Yeah. Just blessed to have that facility in our community. And, you saw it as the nation got its look again at the Pentagon throughout December and November with the other games that were played there. So, yeah, it's we're excited. Of course, this year's it's tough. You're not as many seats. And so we deal with our suites a little differently. But just to have a first-class facility to call home, our teams are able to practice out there occasionally too. So it's the more we can make it feel like our home, excuse me, we'll continue to do that. And the best way to do that is to win at home.
There you go. Let's hope we get some wins here this weekend. And now moving forward to this spring, there's going to be a lot more ramping up within the athletic department, obviously, as we get closer towards the spring months. What's that going to look like for Augustana University?
Yeah, good question. The 3 words that I've learned a lot over the last in the pandemic is I don't know. And not that I haven't thought a lot about it and we haven't made plans. We have. It's just we know that's going to be flexible. So right now, I'm bullish on our spring sports having a fulfilling season. They're outdoors. I feel like I'm an optimist when it comes to the vaccine and people continuing to wear masks. So as we get toward the middle to the end of the spring sports season for baseball, softball, track and field, tennis, golf, I feel optimistic that they'll be good. In fact, softball officially can start practice next week. And so their competition, again, it may look different. They already have a reduced schedule, and that was done back in the spring and more of a cost reduction thing by the NCAA. But as we continue to figure out testing protocols and what that looks like, I'm optimistic for our spring sports. And then you talk about our fall sports too, that, we talked about exploring meaningful competition for them in the spring. And that's one where I don't know what it's going to look like right now. I think we had good conversations with our coaches, want to do whatever we can for our athletes to have some meaningful competition. And it's just kind of like taking one thing at a time. Getting winter sports off the ground was huge. And now start to focus on spring sports. And then how can we get our fall sports that are doing something in the spring? How can we get them to a good place where they have meaningful competition?
Yeah, and I think that's one question a lot of folks have been asking with those fall sports. Will football be played at all? Will volleyball be played? And I'm sure that's something you guys have been working hard to try to do if possible.
Yeah, exactly. And the difference between outdoor versus an indoor sport, high risk, intermediate risk, is different according to the NCAA. So, yes, stay tuned. And I appreciate, because our athletes want to know, and I appreciate that. They deserve to know. It's just it's so fluid that we don't know what the testing protocols will be from the NCAA or from our conference. So we're working on it. It's just kind of taking that one domino at a time.
Well, one thing that's been steady for you guys is putting emphasis on academics first within your student athletes, and it's been another great year as far as academics has been concerned.
Yeah, no kidding. It never ceases to amaze me, especially in a year like this. Our athletes are dealing with so much. There's uncertainty. We're very conscious of making sure their mental health remains good, and for them to have the kind of another year well over a 3-point as a athletic department, 400 plus athletes is incredible. We had one team that didn't have a team GPA of 3.0, and they had a 2.99.
Wow.
The academic rigor at Augustana is significant. And so it just says a lot about the kind of young people that we have on our campus and their resiliency through the fall, through all this uncertainty, to get it done in the classroom.
Yeah, it is remarkable to see what they've been able to accomplish with all the obstacles they've had to overcome this year. Augustana University is always seeming to be looking forward as far as what they want to do with the athletic department. And it sounds like you guys are adding some sports to Augustana University.
Yeah, we're excited. We announced in November that we are adding 2 sports to our portfolio next year: men's swimming and diving, and acrobatics and tumbling. So men's swimming and diving really fits nicely. Lindsay Miko's done a great job building our women's program from scratch 5 years ago. And so to have the men's equivalent is terrific. One of the real cool things about this during the semester was sharing the news with our women's team before it went public. And so they were excited. They're very excited to have the men's equivalent. It just allows a little more competition in the pool, more team bonding. So that's great. And Lindsay's embraced it and has already, I think, 3 commits for next year. So we're excited about that. And there's just opportunity in our region. And then number 2, acrobatics and tumbling is considered an emerging sport for women by the NCAA. and again, learned a lot about it through the process of figuring out if it was right for Augustana. It's a differentiator for us. We're the first in the region to do it, and we're in the process of hiring a head coach right now to start really hit the ground recruiting. But essentially, it's kind of a combination gymnastics and competitive cheer. And we think there's great opportunity in our region and outside our region to bring new recruits and new students to Augustana. So we're excited. Both will start next year. Acrobatics and tumbling is a spring sport, so they won't compete until 2022 in the spring.
It's exciting. There's a lot going on with Augustana University, especially in their athletic department. It's great to get some time with you today, Josh. Thank you so much for making time for us, and hopefully we'll see some wins here this weekend for both Augie women and men, and a whole lot more moving forward.
Indeed. Thanks, JJ. Go Vikings.
All right, go Vikes. We'll see you guys a little bit later on. We'll be back with more from the halftime show here at GoAugie.com.